You mentioned the Hinman documents earlier on in this interview. They were released today in the Ripple case. Tell us about what that means for the Ripple case and what that could mean for some of these other cases that we've been talking about.
Yeah, so these Hinman documents relate to a speech that former director of CorpFin at the SEC, Bill Hinman, gave several years ago. And in that speech, Hinman articulated this idea that you could have a non-security that morphs or transforms into, a security that morphs or transforms into a non-security over time, really based on the decentralization of the network, among other factors. And in particular, Hinman mentioned Ether and said that Ether might have been issued as a security through its initial ICO, but over the years, we've seen so many new users on the network, so many new applications, so many different kind of node operators developing on the network and others. And so it's really this decentralized proposition, very much like a wheat market or other commodity markets. And so it's a non-security today. Now that speech has been cast into doubt potentially by the current administration, with the chair saying that every crypto asset aside from Bitcoin is a security. But this speech really shows that the staff, especially in the Office of General Counsel, as well as in former Chair Clayton's office, amongst other senior staff, reviewed that speech, took the view that this could make it very difficult to later take the view that certain crypto assets are non-securities, in particular Ether, given that this is kind of a staff view, and still allowed the speech to go forward. So it really shows a broader staff consensus around this potential view, although, of course, that staff can change, the administration can change. I think in terms of Ether, it makes it very difficult for the SEC to later take the view it's a non-security, that it's a security. With respect to Ripple, it's not as clear because Ripple's arguments are not entirely focused on this decentralization position. They're focused on other prongs of the Howey test in particular, I mean, amongst all of them, but a lot of the points relate to Ripple not performing an ICO or a sale of the token initially, and conducting fundraising. So it's hard to say how important these documents will be ultimately. I think they add a little bit of support to the view that the SEC did not take the view that everything is a security at the time, but it's hard to say, they're not really passing on the specifics of the Howey test, more so this SEC policy that, can change with the wind.